Your party is traveling through a forest and you happen upon a frantic man. He explains that he was separated from his daughter while fleeing from a bear that was attacking them. He pleads for your help and you decide to help him search, and you eventually find the girl in a tree. Just at that moment you hear a deep growl behind you. You pull out a weapon to defend yourself against the bear, only to realize that it's not actually a bear, but an angry owl bear. Congratulations, you have just encountered an unreliable narrator. Using unreliable narrators in your D&D game can add flavor and nuance to your NPCs, and it can help you add some twists and suspense into your game. So, I thought I'd want to talk a little about what unreliable narrators are, how to use them, and what to avoid. So, what is an unreliable narrator? Well, in the context of D&D, it's when the players can't fully trust the word of an NPC. It's not necessarily because the NPC is willfully deceiving the party. The NPC could simply be wrong in the information that they have. They could have misunderstood something. They could very well themselves have been misled, or say or believe something that's either incomplete or flat out wrong. They could also be biased. Try asking a Greymane which family is the most important one in Whiterun. Or try to ask Leslie Knope and Ron Swanson how the government should be run. And that brings us to why you should use unreliable narrators in your game. They bring nuance to your world and to your game. The real world isn't black and white, and your fictional world shouldn't be either. By using unreliable narrators, your players will have to be skeptical about the information that they receive. They will learn to question and engage more with your world. And it'll be more fun. Let's take an example from one of the groups currently playing through my campaign, Mists of Eldoria. In the opening session, they are traveling by ship to Eldoria. When they're nearly there, their ship gets attacked by pirates and they have their first battle. They manage to win over the pirates, and they actually manage to capture one of them to interrogate. They use tactics not sanctioned by the Geneva Convention to get information out of him. And then they arrive in Welloak, the first town in Eldoria. There, they are hired by the guard captain to solve a murder, and they use rather direct approaches to find clues. They rough up a suspect and they break down the door of another suspect, and they do some general misbehaving and a little bit of mayhem. All this leading to the guard captain throwing them off the case and even telling them to get out of town. Now, one of the players couldn't attend this first session. To catch him up with the others, I had a one-on-one session with him where he went through the same time span as the other players, trying to get him to the same place where they were. This is actually a great way to handle the players who are absent from single sessions, and I might actually do another video about this someday. We agreed that his character had been sick below deck for the entire voyage, and therefore he hadn't met any of the other characters yet. When the pirates attacked, he decided to steal a lifeboat and simply run away, because he was just one single character and there were many pirates. It was the smart choice to do. But before lowering the lifeboat into the water, he looked up on the deck, where he saw the other party members interrogating the pirate that they had captured. But I didn't say to him that it was the other party members that he saw. I told him that he saw a group of people roughing up a single person lying on the floor of the deck. He then inferred that the group was actually the pirates that attacked the ship instead of the other players. So he got out of there, he lowered the lifeboat and rowed the rest of the way. Then when he got to Welloak, he started to look for work. He entered the store of a merchant that had just been roughed up by ruffians, well, the players, and he agreed to escort him to the guard captain to report them. Then when they reach the guard captain, he is in the process of firing the players. And as the captain is sending them away and yelling at them, I tell this player that he immediately recognizes that group as the group of people he saw on the boat. And the merchant pulls on his sleeve and say, "That's them! That's the ruffians who knocked me around!" He now believes that this group is a group of bandits, of enemies who are terrorizing the town and plundering the ships entering the port. He thinks that one of the goals of the campaign is to rid the town of these bandits. And during the next session, when his character met the players of the other characters, and I told him that he recognized the group as the ones he saw on the ship, his expression was priceless. It added a whole different layer of intrigue to the game, and it encouraged the players to really roleplay. He, of course, did not trust the characters of the other players, and he spent the next couple of hours being incredibly skeptical of anything they did. When he finally confronted them, then they had to defend their actions and explain why they had done what they had done. It was an incredible session. He had turned himself into an unreliable narrator, and it made him form an incredibly specific opinion on everything he saw for the rest of the session, which then gave the game an incredible depth that I couldn't have done without using this technique. But that's a very specific scenario. How else could you use unreliable narrators in your game? Well, how about having a quest giver who only knows some of the required information to complete the quest, or maybe even have the information that he does know be wrong? That way, the players will have to look for clues and find out how to get the right information. Or what about if the party talks loudly about some valuable item in their possession? Then you could have the friendly barkeep sweet-talking them and offering them free drinks for the night, trying to steal that item once they are passed out or very drunk. You could have the guide that the group hired to show them around town not know the city quite as well as he claims he does. Or you could have the nobleman who hired the party to reclaim a stolen item of his actually be trying to trick the players into stealing that item from the rightful owners. Or you could give players conflicting rumors, such as these rumor sheets that I've made for my Mists of Eldoria campaign. Or if you use physical books like I do, then have some of the information in these books be wrong, or even the whole book be dubious. I have this book that I use in my campaign, The Alchemist's Legacy. It's a biography about an alchemist whose secret workshop that the NPCs are tasked to find. And in-game, this book is written by an author known for doing sloppy research and only writing books to get fame for himself. The party doesn't know this yet, but if they simply read this book, then they would get a whole lot of wrong information about what this life of this alchemist was about, and they would get some wrong information misleading them on their quest to find his secret workshop. But in this particular case, I have actually written inside of this book notes and notations from the previous owner who knew the alchemist and who was also acquainted with the author of this book. And she has written corrections, she has written notes, she has written notations, and she has crossed out entire sections and giving comments about that. If the players want to find the pieces of true information in this book, they will have to sift through the book, reading both the information in the book and piecing together the information that the previous owner has made on in these notes of hers. It is something that I think is incredibly fun to make, and I am very, very looking forward to seeing if the players actually will be able to find the true pieces of information that is found inside this book. But that's just one way you can do it. But having said that, there are some dangers that you should try to avoid. First of all, read the room. Know your players and make sure that they appreciate being misled sometimes. If they don't like it, it's not fun for them. If it's not fun for them, it shouldn't be done. Everyone needs to be having fun when playing D&D. Secondly, don't overuse it. Having everyone the players meet being deceitful or misleading them in some way might work in the slums of a big city, but if even the elderly grandma of the quiet village turns out to be trying to trick them in some way after her granddaughter just stole their pants and right before you reveal that the entire campaign has been a dream, they will begin to distrust everything that you and your NPCs say. And worst of all, they will not be having fun. Thirdly, When the truth is revealed, it has to make sense, and it needs to be more satisfying than the lie was. This can be difficult, but it's actually a big part of learning to write twists and how to subvert expectations when writing stories. If the story made sense up until the twist, but it didn't afterwards, then it wasn't a good twist. If the twist reframes the whole story and fits with every small clue given throughout the story, it's a good twist. If done well, using unreliable narrators in your game can be a great way to spice up the sessions. If you like this video and you like what I do, you might want to check out my current campaign, Mists of Eldoria, a full campaign that I'm currently in the process of making, and it's available for every Dungeon Master out there to use, either for a full campaign where you use everything, or just for single sessions, or just for encounters, or anything that you might want to use it for. I also make puzzles, props, and guides and other tips for Dungeon Masters. Everything that I make can be found either here on my YouTube or over on my Patreon. Everything is free, and it always will be, but donations are welcome and appreciated. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if there's any specific topic that you would like me to make a video about, just let me know and I'll see if I can make something. In the meantime, I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.